Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the number one English podcast. I'm Emily, and I'm thrilled to be back with you today. And as usual, I'm joined by my fantastic co host, John.
Hi, Emily. Hey there, listeners. It's wonderful to have you all tuning in again. We've got something really valuable planned for this episode.
Absolutely. But before we get into our topic, we just want to take a short moment to express our sincere gratitude to each and every one of you.
Yes, definitely. The encouragement and support we've been receiving from across the globe has been absolutely heartwarming. We notice all your feedback, your inspiring messages, and everything you share, and it truly motivates us.
Seeing how much you appreciate the podcast really pushes us to keep raising the bar and sharing even better content. And we want to give a special thank you to all of you who are telling your friends, your family members, or sharing our show on social media. You're making it easier for more people to start their English journey. And that's amazing.
Thanks for being part of the number one English podcast family. We're genuinely grateful. Now, let's keep that energy going, because today's topic is one that plays a key role in language learning. How to improve your listening skills.
You know, listening is one of the fundamental components of learning a new language.
It sure is. It's typically the first ability we begin to develop, long before we speak, read, or write. And yet, we often don't give it the proper attention. That's why today we're going to explore why it's so crucial and how you can start strengthening it bit by bit every single day.
Exactly. John, let me ask. Have you ever been in a conversation with a fluent English speaker and didn't catch every single word, but still knew what they meant?
Oh, that happens a lot more than people think. Just a few days ago, I was chatting with a friend who speaks incredibly fast. I definitely didn't catch every sentence, but even though I missed parts of it, I still understood the overall meaning.
And that's the magic of listening. It's not about knowing every word. It's about recognizing the main message and understanding the situation. That's a true ability that develops over time with exposure and focus.
Totally agree. I bet many of our listeners have experienced that feeling, realizing they can follow a conversation without needing to translate every detail. And today, we'll walk you through how to strengthen that ability and build more confidence in understanding spoken English.
And don't forget, we've also prepared a free downloadable PDF that includes all the key insights from today's episode. It's in the episode description. So be sure to check it out and follow along or use it later for review. Let's get into our first major topic: why listening is absolutely essential.
Listening is truly the bedrock of language learning. Think back to when you were a baby. You didn't start out by forming sentences. You listened first. You absorbed everything you heard around you.
That's so true. When we hear English, we start to understand intonation, sentence structure, and even the natural rhythm of how it's spoken.
It also directly enhances your abilities in other areas: speaking, reading, and writing. Listening is like the foundation of a strong language structure.
Exactly. And if you think about it, listening surrounds us every day. Whether we're in meetings, hanging out with friends, or just relaxing and watching something. Improving this skill can really change how we interact in English.
Definitely. But one thing that makes listening hard for learners is the way native speakers communicate.
Absolutely. Native speakers tend to talk quickly, use informal expressions, and mix in idioms. It can be tough to keep up at first.
For sure. But with regular practice, you start to recognize the flow of conversation. You catch on to regional accents and become more familiar with everyday expressions.
That brings us to something very important: the difference between simply hearing and actively listening.
That's such an important distinction. Everyone hears sounds and voices all day, but when we talk about listening for learning, we mean conscious, focused listening.
Yes, it's about giving your full attention, making sense of what's being said, and trying to remember or respond to the meaning.
I remember when I was learning Spanish, I had to teach myself to listen deliberately instead of just letting the words float past me.
Right. It's easy to zone out or just catch a few words here and there. But when we really focus, we can start to understand context. And that makes a big difference.
Exactly. Active listening helps us become better communicators, build stronger relationships, and function better in both personal and professional settings.
But let's be real. Listening isn't always smooth sailing. There are some real challenges that English learners face.
No doubt. One of the biggest ones is understanding different accents or keeping up with fast speech.
Yes, native speakers often speak rapidly, and their pronunciation may vary depending on their background. That alone can be overwhelming.
And let's not forget slang, idioms, and expressions that don't make literal sense, like the phrase, "it's raining cats and dogs." You'd be totally lost if you translated that word for word.
Definitely. Plus, trying to listen in a noisy environment makes things even harder.
Don't worry, though. Right after this, we'll share some practical strategies to help make listening less stressful and more effective.
So let's jump into the part you've all been waiting for. Simple but effective ways to practice and get better.
A great starting point is listening to slow and clear English content. There are podcasts and audiobooks specially made for language learners, and they're very helpful for beginners.
Yes, you can also find educational YouTube videos with speakers who explain things clearly and speak at a moderate pace. It's a great way to build confidence.
One more excellent trick. Start by watching movies or series with subtitles, then gradually remove them as you become more comfortable with understanding spoken English.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to rewatch a video or scene several times. You'll be amazed at what you notice the second or third time around.
One thing that helped me was focusing on keywords. You don't have to understand every word. Just try to catch the most important ones to grasp the overall message.
Let's now take a look at some helpful resources you can use to develop your listening skills.
My number one recommendation has always been educational podcasts. There are many created specifically for learners, where the hosts speak slowly, clearly, and use simple vocabulary.
Exactly. Podcasts are perfect because you can take them with you, whether you're commuting, exercising, or just resting. It's a great way to stay surrounded by English.
Another fantastic option is audiobooks. They help you build understanding while following a story. Narrators often speak clearly and with great pronunciation.
And the best part is you can begin with beginner-friendly books and gradually transition to more advanced material as your comprehension grows.
Right? And if you enjoy visual content, then watching TV shows or movies in English can be both fun and effective.
Start with simple shows, ones that use everyday dialogue. And over time, when you feel more confident, challenge yourself with more complex series.
And just a reminder, use subtitles in English to begin with. But as you improve, try watching without them to train your ear.
Let's now focus on some interactive ways to sharpen your listening ability.
One of the best exercises I've tried is called the shadowing technique.
Oh yes, I love that one. Basically, you listen to a short sentence or phrase and then immediately repeat it aloud, trying to match the pronunciation and rhythm of the speaker.
Exactly. It's okay if you're not perfect. It's about training your brain and mouth to connect sounds and meaning.
Another method that works wonders is dictation. Listen to a short audio clip, pause it, and write down exactly what you heard.
That exercise really helps you improve precision and attention to detail. You'll notice how much more you catch when you write it out.
And when you're done, try summarizing what you heard. Just put the main ideas into your own words. It's a great way to check your comprehension.
Now let's move into something many learners struggle with, understanding different accents.
It's a real challenge, but also an important one. English is spoken around the world in so many different ways.
British, American, Australian, even within one country, there are huge differences depending on the region.
That's why we always encourage learners to expose themselves to various accents. Don't stick to just one.
The more you listen to diverse voices, the more adaptable your ear becomes. It may be tricky at first, but it gets easier the more you practice.
Try watching interviews, global news channels, or video blogs from people across the world. You'll get to hear how real people talk in different contexts.
Let's not forget, listening and speaking are closely connected.
Yes, the more you listen, the more natural your own speaking becomes.
A great way to build both skills is by practicing real conversations. Find a speaking partner or teacher and try having conversations where you really pay attention to listening, and then respond naturally.
And even if you don't have a partner, you can still practice by imitating native speakers. Watch a scene, pause it, and try saying the line just like they did.
I do that all the time with TV shows. Sometimes I feel silly, but it really helps me sound smoother and more fluent.
Now let's talk about something essential for any language learner: patience.
Exactly. Developing strong listening skills is a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yes. And it's normal to feel frustrated at times. You might not catch everything. That's part of the journey.
The key is to stay consistent. Even 10 minutes of practice a day makes a big difference.
And remember to celebrate small victories. Maybe today you understood a word or phrase you used to miss. That's progress.
Every step counts, and the more consistent you are, the more natural listening will become.
Before we wrap up, let's talk briefly about listening in everyday situations.
This is where all your practice comes together, when you're in a real conversation and have to react in real time.
That can feel intimidating, but it's also the most rewarding part of learning a language.
If you don't understand something, don't panic. Just ask, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "What does that mean?"
Exactly. Asking questions shows that you're engaged, and it helps the other person slow down and clarify things.
Challenge yourself with real-world situations. Talk to friends, watch unscripted interviews, or even tune into radio shows.
It's all about stepping outside your comfort zone. That's where the biggest growth happens.
And now it's time to hand things over to our language expert, Anna, for the vocabulary spotlight.
She's going to walk us through some of the key phrases and terms we've used today and explain them in simple language.
Thanks, Emily and John. Hi, everyone. Let's go through today's essential vocabulary and expressions. I'll give simple definitions and examples to help you remember and use them easily. Thank you so much, Emily and John. Hi, listeners. Now it's time to take a closer look at some of the key vocabulary and expressions we heard throughout today's episode. I'll explain what they mean and give you clear, easy-to-follow examples so you can start using them confidently in your everyday English. Conversation, a spoken exchange between people. Example: we had a pleasant conversation about what we did over the weekend. Context, the background or situation that helps you understand meaning better. Example: if you're unsure of a word, look at the context of the sentence to figure it out. Confidence, the belief that you can do something well. Example: she answered the questions with great confidence during the team meeting. Tricky, a bit complicated or hard to manage. Example: the instructions were tricky at first, but I eventually got the hang of them. Details, small pieces of important information. Example: I didn't catch all the details in the film because I got distracted. Key points, the main ideas, or the most important things to remember. Example: I noted down the key points during the presentation so I wouldn't forget them. Skill, an ability you develop by practicing something over time. Example: listening is a skill that gets stronger the more you use it. Build on, to keep improving something by adding new knowledge or effort. Example: you can build on your listening skills by practicing just a little every day. Missed, didn't hear or understand something. Example: I missed the beginning of the conversation because I wasn't paying attention. Super, informal word meaning very or extremely. Example: today's English lesson was super fun and helpful. Develop, to grow or improve something step by step. Example: over time, your listening ability will develop if you keep practicing. Totally, completely, or entirely. Example: I totally agree with everything you said. Realize, to suddenly understand or notice something. Example: I realized too late that I had left my phone at home. Flow, the smooth way something moves or continues without interruption. Example: The flow of the conversation was easy and natural to follow. Get the gist to understand the basic meaning even if you don't know every word. Example, I didn't understand everything she said, but I got the gist of it. Go over your head when something is too complicated to understand. Example, the technical terms went over my head, but I still understood the main message. Kick off to begin something. Example, let's kick off today's meeting with a quick warm-up exercise. The beauty of something, the best or most helpful part about it. Example, the beauty of learning online is being able to choose your own schedule. Feel like a big win, to feel like you've achieved something meaningful. Example, being able to follow a full English conversation felt like a big win after months of learning. Step out of your comfort zone to try something new that feels difficult or unfamiliar. Example, to improve your speaking, you have to step out of your comfort zone and talk to people. Hand in hand, two things that go together or support each other. Example, listening and speaking skills often go hand in hand when you're learning a language. Celebrate small wins to feel good about even the little achievements. Example, remember to celebrate small wins like understanding a new word or finishing a short English video. Pick up to learn something naturally by being exposed to it. Example, you can pick up new phrases just by watching English series or listening to music. Feel frustrated to feel annoyed or upset when something is difficult or confusing. Example, I felt frustrated when I couldn't understand the speaker, but I kept trying anyway. That wraps up our vocabulary section. I hope these explanations helped you connect meaning to the words and expressions we covered today. Now you'll be better prepared to recognize and use them in your own conversations. Keep practicing and don't be afraid to revisit this list whenever you need to.
That was incredibly helpful, Anna. Thank you for breaking everything down so clearly.
Yes, we really appreciate it. Expanding your vocabulary a little at a time is such an important part of becoming a confident English speaker.
And today we've explored everything from the basics of listening to practical exercises, accent exposure, and how to stay motivated.
If you're looking for a reminder of what we talked about, don't forget, we've put together a free downloadable PDF with all the key takeaways from today's episode.
You'll find it in the episode description. Use it as a guide to stay on track as you work on your listening skills.
Thank you for joining us again, and remember, every minute you spend listening is a step forward. You're making progress.
Stay consistent, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep going and keep growing.
Take care, everyone, and don't stop now. We've got more great episodes lined up just for you. Explore the next one to keep improving your English.